Okay, so it's Saturday morning, and the goal today is to make some raised beds to plant some vegetables and such here in the backyard. So here's where we're going to do that. Got a little spot picked out along the fence here. Instead of doing like rows of raised beds, we're just going to do one long one along this old part of fence here. So I got to dig up these plants and just kind of whip this thing together. I got some wood here. This is what we're dealing with. A few 4x4s and about 14 of these 1x6s that are 8 feet long. So I think what we're gonna do is make it 3 layers high, so like 18 inches high, and then 2 of these boards long, so 16 feet long, and then I guess like 3 feet deep. Hey, it's Wes. Just here in my garage. Let's talk about materials. So I mentioned I got some wood here this morning, and what I got was 14 of these I guess it's 5/4, so 1 1/4 by 6 by 8 like decking boards, just pressure treated pine. And I got 3 of these 4x4s, 8 feet long, and that's pine. And I also picked up some decking screws, 2-inch decking screws. And so with this stuff, what I had in it is, I also picked up some other things while I was there, but so the wood was about 80 plus 31, so 110 or so. And then the screws were about $9, so about $120 for materials. And then the other stuff I have is just stuff I already had that I plan on using. Post hole digger for the 4x4s, the supports that'll go on the ground, some gloves, some garden tools like a mattock and a wood rake and a hoe, and then a level to try to make sure this thing looks somewhat decent. But I really don't have an exact plan, but I just kind of have it in my mind, so we'll see how it looks as we go. Okay, I got 2 of these 8-foot boards laid out to kind of give me an idea of how this thing's going to look. So it's going to be 16 feet long. I'm going to start here with this fence transitions and work back this way, because we're thinking we might extend this little brick patio out to cover this area here, maybe do like a fire ring type of thing. So I'm going to clear out this shrubbery right here and get that ready to build the raised beds. This is my helper. This is Chester. You gonna help me today, buddy? Or you want to go inside? So I'm clearing out the beds, and it's going okay, but the people who were here before put these little bricks, kind of like pavers, on the edge of the beds here, so I gotta pull these up, which is kind of a pain, but we'll get it. Alright, bricks are out. Got them out. So here's what we're left with after I cleared all that brush out of there. You can see the fence is kind of starting to rot down there at the bottom in some places. So we're going to go ahead and put some boards on the backside as well as the front, just to keep dirt from creeping over into the neighbor's yard and rotting the fence some more. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is cut these 4x4s into 36-inch pieces. The plan being that they'll be sticking out of the ground 18 inches and buried 18 inches deep. So hopefully that'll make them sturdy enough in the ground. So here are our 4x4s cut into 36-inch pieces. That's what I use to cut them with, just a Sawzall or reciprocating saw, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if that's ideal, but that's what I use, and it worked pretty well. So we're going to bury these 18 inches deep and leave 18 inches sticking out of the ground. And that should be approximately the depth of our raised beds. This is kind of a general idea of what we're going to do here. Just going to plant these 4x4s as you see them laid out here, so every 8 feet. But actually, instead of exactly 8 feet, I'm going to try to line them up with these fence posts that are already here, so I can screw into those instead of into just the fencing planks. It's not quite 8 feet on center, so I'm gonna make them match that distance. And then I don't think I even need this 4x4 because I'm gonna screw the boards, the 6-inch boards, directly to the fence and those fence posts, so that would be kind of redundant to have that one. So let's just see where it goes. Okay, so now we have our 6-inch boards all along here forming a back wall, and made sure it was level. That's about 16 feet long. I actually cut some off the end of this side to make it line up with the fence and the fence posts correctly, but now we're going to dig holes for the 4x4s that'll go in the corners here and right here and over here and here. So we're going to go down 18 inches. That's the plan. So the 36-inch posts will be half buried. Hopefully they're pretty sturdy. I'm not going to use quickcrete or anything like that, just because if somebody wants to take these out someday, it won't be too hard. They can just dig them out. Okay, so it started raining, so I'm kind of trying to hurry here, but you can see I've got a 4x4 down there at the end. I've got 2 of them right here, sunk 18 inches in the dirt with 18 inches sticking up approximately. So I'm going to stick these, it's going to be 24 inches wide or deep, however you want to think about it. So I'm going to put these boards going along here like this. So that'll be next. Okay, so I'm kind of skipping ahead here, but I didn't show any intermediate steps, but I put up all the boards along the side and along the front here. It's actually the next day because I got rained out yesterday and I had to kind of hurry as I was doing all this in the rain, which is why I didn't film any of the intermediate steps, and it's a little sloppier than I would have liked because of the rain. Like, it's not perfectly lined up with the top of that post, but at least it's level anyway. There's also kind of a gap down here at the bottom because the level of the dirt in the back is higher than in the front, just because these beds were kind of raised above the rest of the yard anyway. So I think I'm going to put another board along the front there just so it's flush with the ground and dirt doesn't come out. So that's what I'll do next to kind of finish this thing up. Alright guys, so here's what we ended up with. I got the boards along the bottom here. So it ended up being about 4 rows high. But inside it's a little higher than on the outside, so it's more like 3. I also added this little support here in the middle just to give it a little extra stability, and it's a lot more firm now that I put that on there. And it should be covered in dirt so no one will see it. But anyway, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I think it'll get the job done. And now I've just got to do some calculations and estimate how much dirt it's going to take to fill this thing up. Okay, so we got some dirt here. I just went and got a yard of processed soils, as they call it. It's just regular soil that's been filtered out of all the large rocks and roots and stuff. And I don't think it's very nutrient rich, but I think I might get some compost to mix into like the top layers and everything to add some nutrients. But I estimated it'll take like between 1.5 and 2 yards of dirt. So if you're like going to a landscaping store or something, a bobcat that they use to scoop the stuff up, that's half a yard per scoop. I estimate it'll take what, so 1.5 to 2, so 3 or 4 scoops of that stuff. Just gonna dump it in here and see if my estimates were right. And if not, we'll just keep getting some more. So this is 1 trailer load, which is actually only half a yard. It's 1 scoop. I didn't want to try and get a whole yard in this little trailer. I'll go back and get the other scoop that I paid for, and then See how many more I need to buy after that. Okay, so I put 1 yard, aka 2 scoops of dirt in here, and that's what that looks like. So it's about 3/4 full, and I think I'm going to actually get bagged either compost or potting soil for the top layer, and then kind of mix it in a little bit, just to, so there's more than just plain dirt, so it's got some nutrients and stuff in it. So we got some soil here in bags that we're going to use to top this thing off. There it is, filled up with the bagged soil. It actually only took 8 of those bags. I had 2 left over. So 8 times 7, that's $56 for the top layer of potting soil. Okay, so I think that wraps it up. So all in all, I spent about 120 bucks on wood and screws and things like that, and then another 56 plus, it's like 106, 110 bucks on soil. So about 230 or 40 bucks on the whole project. I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know what you think in the comments below.